Hello. Yes, it is the last chapter, and we thought the last chapter deserved something special. Trumpet fanfare. I know, it's not a new hat. I haven't run out. I just thought it was the last one. This is the most special of the hats I've got. Bit of a bow tie, bit of a handsome chap, bit of a little cute, colourful, cuddly, extra colourful for the last chapter. Now this is a bit of a longer one, so make sure you're sitting comfortably. By the way, we've just been out there, we've been having a lovely VE Day, socially distanced street party. 2 metres apart, chatting, drinking, eating some lovely food. You had a lovely muffin, didn't you, Jack? A lovely giant cookie.
Yeah.
But we thought we'd take a little bit of time out and finish off this epic story of Fly Me Home amidst our epic story of lockdown. It's a long one, so as I said, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then I'll begin. The next day, we watched over Tiber. He slept a lot. He lay so very still and quiet that I could hardly believe it was my brother at all. Tiber usually tosses when he sleeps. He turns and burrows and shakes the bed with his movements. But not that day. He lay unmoving, apart from one of his hands, which flickered with excitement. His fingers flexed and trembled to their own rhythm, little flutterings that made me think of a bird's wings beating in flight. It was the hand that I had held, almost hidden beneath the cast, the one she held. That night, Mum wanted to stay with Tiber, but said she thought I should get some proper sleep. She'd spoken to Maria, Betsy's grandmother, and arranged for me to stay the night with them. As soon as we saw each other, Betsy and I hugged tightly. I was sure she would start talking about football immediately, but instead, she said, "Hey, little fish, I didn't think we'd see each other again." "Me neither," I said, and we squeezed each other's hands. I told what had happened to Tiber, how I'd sprinted away from the boys and how I'd played football at school, which helped me to start talking to everyone. "I knew it," Betsy exclaimed. "I always knew football would help one day." "You're right," I said, grinning. "How is Mr. Bo?" she asked. I frowned. He still hadn't been there when I'd arrived back with Tiber. When we got off in the ambulance, I had to leave Dog in the house alone, hoping that Bo would be back soon. "I haven't seen him. Not since that day when the police came round, and he wasn't in earlier when I knocked. Have you seen him at all?" Betsy shook her head slowly and then looked up, her eyes glinting. "Shall we go round? Shall we go and see him?" "Oh, you'd have to be quick. I told my mum I wouldn't leave the house." "Would your grandma mind?" "No, she just asked that we tell her where we're going." We went round straight away. This time it was as if Bo was waiting for us to arrive. The door was flung open as soon as we finished knocking. "You're right on time," he said. "Just in the tick-tock of it." Dog rushed up and butted his head into our hands. "What's going on, Bo?" I asked. "Oh, I found another way back to the place, back home. Come on. There's no time like this present." "We gone now?" Betsy asked, her eyes open wide. "This is the present." Bo leaped around the sitting room, blowing out candles, ducking beneath branches and only just missing them. He put on a coat and a scarf and a hat, and then another hat that didn't quite fit on top of the first. And then he reached down for a bag he'd packed and slung it over his shoulder as well. "How long you go for, Mr. Bo?" Betsy asked. "Well, for however long I'm there, of course, a horse. Forever and a day. Come on, Dog." He strode out into the street with Dog following close behind him. Betsy and I looked at one another. And I was suddenly sure she was thinking exactly the same thing as me. We followed him out. Bo had stopped in front of the bins and the lamppost. "Bo," I said gently, we can't go without you. We can't go to the place." When he spoke, his voice was quiet, like the tiny rustle of a breeze or the sound of the smallest of creatures as it scurries past. "I know," he said. "That is how I know it is time for me to go." He sighed loudly, his breath moving through his whole body, lifting him up, puffing out his chest. and then releasing his spine, that his feet seemed to dig deeper into the ground. "It was because of you. You did it, Lilu," he told me. "What? Oh, what did I do?" "You gave me the most powerful wonder of them all." "I did?" Bo reached into his pockets, his fingers tightly curled around something. "You needed the wonders when I left them for you, in our little spot. Here." He touched the gap between the bin and the lamppost. "They helped you when you most needed them, and then when I needed help, you left something for me." I opened his palm, and there lay the small caramel-coloured stone that I'd found in the street and left for Bo in the matchbox with the letter. "But it's not from the place," I said straight away. "I just found it on the way back from school. It won't have powers." "Oh, but it does," Bo said, and he squeezed the stone hard in his hand and muttered something quietly under his breath. Just then, the ground began to shake. "What's happening?" Betsy shrieked and continued to tremble. "The place," Bo said. "It's right here." He gestured to the bin and the lamppost in front of us. "This is it." The bin was surrounded with rubbish, as always. Old boxes, torn and full of clothes, had fallen on their side. Pieces of what looked like a bed had been dumped next to them. A broken umbrella protruded from the top of some black rubbish sacks, spokes pointing out angrily like a great bird that was about to stretch its wings and take flight. Bo touched the bin lids lightly, tenderly almost, as though he was stroking dog when he was scared by a storm. "People always leave their rubbish here," he said. "They always have, and I suppose they always will. They see this just as a place to dump things they want to be rid of. They see the whole world like that. I know people like that. Not as something to treasure, not as something of wonder. I won't forget. I won't forget when I am back home. All that I have learned here, I'll never stop looking and finding beauty in all the small things when I am home again." Aye, it's the small things that matter. "But Bo," I said gently, "where is it?" "It's right here, Lilu, right here." The ground rumbled again beneath our feet. Betsy almost lost her balance, and I reached out a hand to steady her. Bo touched the little space where he used to wedge things for me to find. A breeze stirred around us, clattering some leaves and sending them skittering across the road. There was nothing more. The ground grew still, unmoving and solid as it ever was. Betsy and I looked at each other anxiously. This is when we heard it, the low, heavy sound of dragging metal. The ground shook again. "Mr. Bo!" Betsy cried out. The bin had slowly started to move aside, and underneath it, where there should have been pavement, was a tunnel sloping downwards. I could see leaves falling at the bottom of the tunnel, and a light that seemed to sparkle and dance and move across the tunnel walls like nothing I'd ever seen before. "Here it is!" Bo cried happily. He turned to me. His eyes were full of tears, but they weren't the sad kind of tears, because he was smiling too. Smiling so hard that his face looked quite different from the one I'd gotten used to. "You made it happen, Lilu. You don't need the wonders anymore, do you?" I remembered running from the gang, speaking out in class. Bo was right. I didn't need them anymore. "You made the place open up here, because all the power you have found within yourself. It's the most wonderful wonder I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. It's because of you. You are helping me." I looked again down the tunnel of lights. A soft breeze caressed my face. I thought I saw something flitter, a flash of something, and then disappear. Must have been one of the birds that Bo had told us about, the ones that were hardly ever seen, hiding shyly in the branches of the trees. But I had just seen one. "So this is goodbye," said Bo. He waved his hand a little formally. But then Betsy rushed towards him, and we both fell into his arms, hugging him tightly. Somehow I knew that he wouldn't come back. This was the last time we would see him, and the thought made me squeeze him tighter still. "Oh, well, this is very goodbye," Bo said, and then stood up straight. He looked up at the night sky, and there was a full moon. Time to fly, he said. I could see the crater that Dad had pointed out and wondered if wherever he was he could see it now. I think, though, that before we say a very goodbye, Bo said, I have just enough wonders for one last thing. He threw his bag down onto the ground, and from inside it gathered a huge number of things. The same things he'd used when he tried to fly. He held them to him, whispering and drawing them to him as they trembled and twitched and shook. And Betsy and I looked round. Nothing had changed. What did you do, Mr. Bo? Betsy asked. You'll find out soon enough. And then he took a step backwards and gave a wobbly-looking bow. Only he stepped back a bit too far and almost fell into the tunnel. Oh, it's a gravy, Bo said. I was laughing and crying all at the same time. Goodbye, Bo, I managed to say through tears and gasps. Oh, goodbye, Lilu. Goodbye, Betsy, Bo said. Don't forget us, Betsy demanded. Oh, I won't forget you, Betsy. I won't forget you, Lilu. And you don't forget either. We'll never forget you, Mr. Bo, Betsy said. Not me, Bo said indignantly. Don't forget, never forget, Lilu. The power you have inside yourself. You have that with you always. You don't need this any longer. But here's just one more to remember. And he pressed a walnut to my hand. I grasped it tightly. Goodbye, Bo, and thank you. Thanks for everything. Don't forget Dog, Bo said. And we bent down and hugged Dog's very big grey head and kissed him and hugged him again. We watched Bo and Dog disappear into the tunnel. As they strode further and further in, they got smaller and smaller, and then, very slowly, the bin began to close over the tunnel. The lights vanished from sight, and the street looked exactly as it always had been. The bin and the lamppost and the piles of rubbish as ordinary as ever. Just then, I heard someone shout my name. Lilu! It was like the sound of a bell donging the way my name was being shouted. Lilu! Lilu! I looked up and I saw my dad's dear face. He stretched out his arms towards me and I ran to him. I couldn't believe that he was real, that he was really there, until I felt his arms around me, that he encircled me and lifted me off the ground. And I felt as though I was flying. You're here, I kept saying. You're here, you're here. But through my tears it sounded like I was saying, we're home, we're home, we're home. Wow. It's just a tiny, tiny little bit more. We never saw Bo again. But sometimes, on the days I least expect it, I see a shape of something between the bin and the lamppost. The first time it was a pine cone, one that was a different size and shape to the one Bo gave me. I found feathers there, pressed sleeves that I'd never seen before, sometimes another piece of moss. Bo has not forgotten us. Maybe one day in the future we'll see him when he comes to leave us something, maybe. The things no longer have any more powers for me because, as Bo told me, I didn't need them anymore. They won't make anything happen. But I keep them anyway. To remember Bo. To remember a time when I found wonders that gave me powers. To remember a time when I found a power within myself. I treasure them. I treasure them. Wow. Some powerful messages there, guys, about believing in yourself, being honest with yourself and with everyone around you. Very profound and lovely book. I hope you enjoyed it. That's it. I mean, we're kind of done. I feel kind of fancy. Mm-hmm. I'm glad we dressed up for this occasion. I'm glad we had a trumpet fanfare. Remember, we got a Zoom chat on Wednesday. If there's something else you wanted me to do, because I feel like there's something missing in my life not recording these YouTube videos for you. So let me know if there's something else I can do. Another book. Something entirely left field. Who knows? But anyway, you know what I'm going to say. Stay safe, stay happy, stay curious, and stay you. Peace out, guys.